Hi, and welcome back. We're going to continue with our daily life series, looking at the kitchen now. We've covered a lot of areas of the house, and now let's go into the kitchen because we all have some form of cooking that happens in our lives. A lot of our daily habits can really impact whether we feel good or feel bad, and we need to look at our body position and see what it does to us to help us in the kitchen to avoid some of the things that can cause back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, or any other various arm pains, hand pains, anything like that. We've talked in the past about some of the considerations for standing, so let's look at that now as we go to do some food preparation for our meals today. As we're standing here, we want our weight centered over the back of our arches and our heels. It grounds us to the ground and it allows us to relax and to feel our thighs working, not our back, not our upper back, and even not our neck. What I often see is some people will have a sway back posture where they throw their pelvis forward, and what happens then is you stop using your thigh muscles and you rely more on your back muscles and sitting on your hip ligaments. We don't want to get into that habit, and what I'll also see is when people are in that posture, then they lean their pelvis up against the countertop for support when their back fatigues. Again, that's not a good habit for us to have if we're going to be standing for a long period of time and just in general for our body, because it changes the way we go to reach and move and squat. So if possible, we want to get back on our heels, have our feet right underneath us, hip width apart, and then we go to do some chopping. So I have some zucchini here I want to chop for a meal that I'm going to have at lunchtime today. And so as I'm chopping and I'm working on cutting the vegetables, one of the things you'll notice is I didn't lift up my shoulder. I have my wrist pretty much in neutral as I cut the vegetables. And obviously zucchinis are a little bit on the easier side for chopping. So if I use something a little bit harder to chop, I may have to put a little bit more oomph into it, maybe bend over, get a little bit more arm into it. But what I don't want to do is lift up my shoulder and hunch up near my ear to start doing chopping. You can feel right away the tension that gets created, and our body loves to habituate, so it will start to do that as a pattern over and over. So sometimes as you change your patterns and change the way that you're chopping, you may have to go a lot slower because your brain needs to process it and think about it. But then again, if you're learning a new process and it helps your body, it's worth taking that time. So if you're thinking about that, and let's say, I need to do some stirring. I have some vegetables, I added something into it, and I need to do some stirring. Again, with stirring, if I'm stirring, shoulder down, let my arm do more of the motion, let my wrist be in neutral so that I can stir and do what I need to without using body parts that are not part of the action. We don't want to be lifting up, we don't want to be arching our back, we don't want to be sticking our pelvis forward. All these things lead to problems in our body, lead to tension, lead to impingement of tissues, and over time that can create so much problems. So these are some of the concepts for prepping food if you're chopping food. And next week we'll cover a little bit more on a different type of cooking and carrying stuff back and forth. I hope this was helpful. Start practicing your chopping, your vegetable preparation. Look at ways that you can use your body in the correct manner without arching your shoulders up, arching your back, sticking out your chest, using all these other compensations. We really want to stick to, okay, if I'm chopping, I'm going to be using my triceps. I'm going to be chopping down. I want to keep my forearm and wrist straight. Those are some of the things that you want to think about and just examine and become aware of your daily habits. I hope this was helpful. We'll see you again next week. Bye guys.